Happy Monday! I'm Meteorologist Ted Schmidt, and I hope you're having a great Memorial Day holiday weekend so far. It hasn't been perfect as weather goes, but we've had some decent stretches of time. Just a little sun here and there, a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Of course, we just, about an hour and a half ago, had a thunderstorm rumble through Rochester. We just had a severe thunderstorm warning expire, one that was in effect for portions of Wabasha County and for a portion of western Wisconsin near Pepin. But right now, things are looking a little bit quieter for the time being. There are still some showers around, so we're not completely out of the woods. This morning, we'll have the threat of rain and still the possibility of a little thunder popping up every so often between now and about noon. And then the afternoon features about 5 or 6 hours of more of that sun, a break from rain chances for a few hours. But here's our Guelty Group camera, 71 degrees right now in Rochester. Next hour or so, we're going to see temperatures climb from the low to 70s to around 80 degrees later on. If we get to 80, it'd be the first time in 2020 so far in Rochester. It's not a record yet, but certainly we are beyond the typical first 80-degree high temperature of the year. The average, the 130-year average is May 3rd. That's a typical first day of 80-degree warmth, and we've not done it so far, about 3 weeks beyond that, but we still have about, I think, 2 more weeks before we get to the record, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to get to 80 perhaps today. If not today, certainly I think this week and definitely next week is looking a bit warmer. So I feel strongly that we are not going to see any records in that regard, which is good. But anyway, looking at some sunshine today. Already sun breaking through in Rochester, 67 officially as of the last hour observation. I think that number is going to change here very quickly, though. That's the official reading at the airport. 72 in Winona, 64 in Mason City. There's that sun already breaking through the clouds in the distance, but overhead seem some big bright patches of blue. Updating that number, it's now 71 in Rochester. Dew point 64, perhaps you've noticed that subtle change. We mentioned this a couple of days ago going into the weekend, that it would not only be feeling warmer, but definitely more humid, and that, of course, is priming the atmosphere for those thunderstorm chances. We've been seeing rounds of that at times this morning. Pea-sized hail here in Rochester with that storm. Here's the outlook for the next several hours. Showers, a few scattered thunderstorms through about 12. Get a break for about 4 to 6 hours, and then about 6 or 7 o'clock, the next round of storms develops. Temperatures topping out very close to 80 degrees. Sunset at 8:40 for our Memorial Day. Here, there's thunderstorms rumbling through the area. There's that one cell that came, it started in North Iowa, and then it across the border around Leroy, went through Teope, and eventually Rockdale, and then Rochester, and now through Lake City. Now moving northward through western part of Wisconsin, Pepin County, Wisconsin, up toward eventually maybe near Eau Claire in the next hour or so. But satellite radar looking at that storm system that is moving through. Here is a look for the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for the morning, and then after 6 until about midnight, the severe weather risk here. It's marginal risk. That says that we are the lowest category in the severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, meaning that it'll be isolated storms like the one we saw earlier today. Maybe see a few more of those hail-producing storms earlier in that storm that went through Rochester. That it eventually did produce 1-inch hail. That's why we had that warning in effect just before 9 o'clock. In fact, right now it is almost 9. That storm, of course, has moved out. That warning is now a thing of the past. It's canceled. But looking at large hail, damaging winds, heavy rainfall in some of those storms. They pick up a quick half-inch or more of rainfall in some of the heaviest storms. Tomorrow's outlook, still marginal risk. Possibility of large hail in those storms, especially for the afternoon and early evening, as a storm system and its slow-moving cold front move into the area. Beyond that, severe weather risk pretty much off the table for the rest of the week. But lightning certainly a strong concern. It's not a severe weather element per se, but it's always something that you need to remind people, especially on a holiday. People are out and about. Be on the lookout for lightning. It's one of those things. It kills more people than those other phases of severe weather and thunderstorms, because it's so prevalent, these storms, and it's a deadly thing. And otherwise, we're looking at hail and damaging winds as the primary concerns for those severe storms. Tornado, not a concern at this point. But looking at a future track, this is what we're facing for the evening. Big area of thunderstorms is expected to develop and then roll in about 6, 7, 8 o'clock, and lasting until about midnight. Possibility there of downpours of rain, hail, and those gusty winds. And then we may see a few more storms tomorrow. Smaller risk of severe weather, but hail, again, the primary concern in any of those that should develop. Here's Futurecast looking at a break. This is 3 or 4 o'clock. We see those sizable gaps in the clouds. Temperatures around 80 degrees. Thunderstorms come in again tonight, 6 to midnight. After that, we'll have a couple of isolated storms after midnight into tomorrow morning. There's one round, and then we go into the afternoon and more scattered storms come in, and that's what we're looking at for the possibility of maybe a couple of strong storms tomorrow afternoon. Then that whole frontal system moves through. Wednesday features a little more sun. Still a chance, though, as a cold front comes in, especially in the afternoon, a couple of isolated storms may develop. Not severe weather environment, but we may see the final round of rain for the week after Wednesday. High pressure comes in for about 5 or 6 days and carries us into early next week at this point. 80 degrees in Rochester today, 80 degrees Mesa City, 81 in Winona. Looking at high temperatures close to 80. We'll be in the 60s to around 70 this evening and tonight with those thunderstorms, especially through the midnight hour for the evening until about midnight. So for today, occasional sunshine, warm and humid, some showers, a few thunderstorms, morning, and then again by evening, 64, the overnight low temperature tonight. And tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms off and on. I think we may get a break here and there, but more clouds than sun once again. South breeze, maybe a little more of a breeze to stir things up a little. Another warm, humid day. 77 for your Tuesday, and then with extra sun, we may still reach 80 on Wednesday. Very close to it anyway. And then looking ahead at some sun, low in mid-70s for the end of the week, and for the weekend. Even next week looks like a slow warming trend that carries us to about 80. But Monday and Tuesday, still as it stands right now, maybe bright and sunny for the first couple of days of June. So maybe a glorious start to the month of June. That's also the beginning of meteorological summer. And hopefully between now and then we'll get to 80 degrees, which is more typical for this time. They're not unusual to do it. In fact, it's just what we expect. Anyway, I hope everybody has a safe and enjoyable Memorial Day. Yeah, keep an eye to the sky, looking at the possibility of thunderstorms and lightning, if nothing else. You want to be safe and keep that in mind. And of course, and today I want to point out that I am wearing my U.S. Army tie. My wife bought this for me when she was visiting her sister, my sister-in-law Stacy Holman. I want to shout out to her, who is serving our nation as a colonel in the Army, and she's stationed at Fort Knox, Kentucky. My dad was stationed at Fort Knox, Kentucky back in 1969 before he went to Vietnam for a year, and he served in the Army as well. So shout out to them, and my grandfather. I might add, he's stationed in Europe and was there for 3 years in World War II. So we want to remember those who have served our nation and those who have paid the ultimate price and served before us. So anyway, think about that on this Memorial Day. In the meantime, also, enjoy that near 80 degree warmth and be on the lookout for some thunderstorms. Again, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great Monday.